In the history of heavyweight boxing, we've seen many great fighters, many great talents. We've seen guys like Evander Holyfield, who moved up and were smaller but had such a heart that they would be willing to fight anybody, anywhere, anytime, and they had to walk through fire and they would be willing to die in the ring just to prove that they were the best and that they belonged. We also had guys like Mike Tyson, who were a little shorter than the average heavyweight, but they were built like Mack trucks. That he had great coaching from Custom Model, great speed, unreal power. He was just a mythical talent, a once in a lifetime talent, and he was someone who intimidated his opponents like we'd never seen before. We also had guys like Rocky Marciano, who at that particular time was smaller than every other heavyweight. Rocky Marciano fought at what we now know as the cruiserweight to like in between cruiserweight, light heavyweight. He was a really small guy. I believe he fought a lot of his fights around 185 pounds. So he would go in there being outweighed by 20, 30 pounds sometimes, and he was able to not win fights on skills, but literally with his heart and get out the canvas, and was just able to outlast his opponents and had arguably the greatest right hand we had ever seen in the history of heavyweight boxing. Every heavyweight great had their own attribute, but the top of the top, the guys that really were, great fighters, at the top of the food chain, they all had one thing in common, and they all had great jabs. You had to have a great jab to be a great heavyweight, at least for a long period of time. Now, the whole point of this video is simply this. Recently, I'm gonna say this about a month or two ago. I went to the heavyweight factory here in South Florida, and I ran into my good buddy Riddick Bowe, Riddick Big Daddy Bowe, former undisputed champion, and I was wearing a Larry Holmes shirt. And I did a video about this, but I was wearing a Larry Holmes shirt, and he said to me, "Hey Brendan, do you like Larry Holmes?" And I said, "Yeah, I love Larry Holmes. He's got the best jab in the history of heavyweight boxing." And Riddick, I got pissed because obviously he had a pretty good jab himself, and I did a video on that. I'll roll the clip later on in this video, but the whole point of this video was to show just the difference between their jabs, and I'm going to use certain fights to break that down. So we'll start with Riddick Bowe. When we describe Riddick Bowe, we're talking about a guy who was 6'5". He was literally a walking New York giant, and the guy had all the talent in the world. Now, did he fulfill that talent? Did he ever maximize the talent? The answer is obviously no. In the eyes of many boxing experts, Riddick Bowe is probably the greatest underachiever in the history of boxing. But on the night he beat Evander Holyfield, honestly, the night he beat Evander Holyfield in 1992, he goes down as easily. That Riddick Bowe could have competed with any heavyweight from any era, and he would have probably beat like 85 to 90% of those guys, honestly. But when we talk about Riddick Bowe, one of the things that stands out about the guy was his jab. He had a great jab, and in comparing it to Larry Holmes, it was a different kind of jab, because Riddick's jab didn't have as many variations. He threw his jab always, pretty straight forward. He had a really good jab. He could throw it to the stomach, he'd throw it at your head, it would snap your head back and hit you. He's knocked guys down with jabs. So Riddick Bowe's jab was, for the most part, a power jab, and the fight I'm going to use to begin to illustrate the difference between these guys, as far as the jab between Larry Holmes and Riddick Bowe, we'll go to the Riddick Bowe-Burt Cooper fight. When this is Riddick Bowe coming up, this is before he became champion. Burt Cooper obviously was, the smaller fighter, tough guy at that time, and usually when you're the bigger fighter, the whole key is to make sure guys who are smaller don't cut the distance and get on the inside on you. And Burt Cooper was a guy that had solid punching power, and that was a fight where in the first round he got Riddick Bowe to deviate from his game plan, and he cut the distance, and Riddick Bowe had this problem throughout the course of his career, so we're gonna break that down right here. So When we speak about the career of Riddick Bowe, I think it's pretty easily to define his career in the 2 rounds that took place in the Burt Cooper fight. Now, in his fight with Burt Cooper, Riddick, was a tale of two fighters. In the first round, he was mentally undisciplined. He was very disciplined to his game plan. He's clearly the bigger fighter. He's fighting a guy in Cooper who is built like a fire hydrant. The guy can punch. The guy's been tested. And Riddick has natural size at 6'5". Didn't necessarily use it. You're going to see in the second round, he makes an adjustment because Eddie Futch, who was sitting ringside at this particular fight, was telling him, hey, Riddick, get back to the jab. Use that size. And eventually you'll see in the second round the difference in fighter he was when he did decide to use that jab. And I think the mental discipline and commitment to the jab is one of the things that separates Riddick Bowe from, or Larry Holmes from Riddick Bowe. Riddick didn't have the commitment and discipline to the jab. So here we go. Round one's beginning now. Riddick's coming out. Cooper's gonna land a nice left hook there. Bowe, has already, fallen into a trap of allowing Cooper to set the tone of this fight. Cooper's landed a couple of hard flush left hooks on Riddick Bowe to begin the fight. Not a lot of head movement. Riddick Bowe's job is to command distance right now, and he's not doing that from the get-go. And Cooper is in his chest. Cooper's ripping shots to the body. Cooper's just trying to set the pace and try to be a boss because he understands that this is a, really great talent that's in front of him right now. And if he figures out what to do, it's going to be hard to beat him. So Riddick does a couple jabs there, and then he gets, a couple punches thrown back at him, and just like that, the distance is smothered once again. And as you're going to see throughout the course of this round, Riddick's lead left hand is very inactive. He's not really using that lead left hand like he should. So, Bowe goes a wild uppercut right there, doesn't land. You got Cooper still in his chest, still working Bowe. You got Riddick seemingly trying to throw one punch when you got Cooper throwing 2-3 punches, which is never a good thing. If any of you box, you know that it's never a good thing when you try to throw one punch, the other guy's throwing 4 or 5 punch combinations. Right there, he's trying to get that left hand out, but it doesn't seem like it worked. He gets tied up again. Cooper's cut. Oh, great! That was a good uppercut by Cooper. Cooper's still coming forward. Cooper's still trying to set the tempo. And this is not good for Bowe. He's very lucky, very fortunate Futch was there, because I don't think Riddick Bowe would have made this adjustment without Futch at ringside. This probably would have been a long, drawn-out fight for him, to be honest with you. Great right hand there by Riddick Bowe, but still, it has no effect because it's just one punch, and there's no distance, so his punches are smothered, and his punches are smothered that they can't have their full impact on Burt Cooper. And that's another thing between him and Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes would always have such command of distance. Prime Larry Holmes, of course. Prime Larry Holmes had very good command of his distance, and was just able to, when he did hit you, it had more of an effect because of the distance, even though he wasn't a big puncher. But see, you got Cooper here landing good shots, uppercuts still in his chest. Bowe just seems content to play, just to clinch, and now he's throwing half-hearted jabs, not really with no purpose, and the round's gonna end, and it's a round where Riddick Bowe pretty much fought Burt Cooper's fight. So now Riddick Bowe is going back to his corner, and you're gonna see that, Eddie Futch is pretty mad with him. That Eddie Futch wants him to get back to the jab, and you're gonna notice a dramatic difference in this round that's about to take place from Riddick Bowe. Now, Eddie Futch, I believe he was sick or something like that. I don't know exactly what happened, but I know he was sick or had surgery or something like that, so he couldn't be in Riddick Bowe's corner. But as you can see right there, he's telling him right there. Papa Smith is telling Riddick Bowe to get back to the jab and use that size and use that distance, and then set up that vicious right hand you're gonna see in this round. As Riddick Bowe puts his mouthpiece back in, and you can see he looks like he's been told something that's gonna help him, and he looks calm, and You know, luckily for him, Bert Cooper didn't really hurt him with any shots. Caught him with a couple good shots, but it wasn't anything that really hurt him. So you're gonna see right here as this round starts, round 2. All right, so Riddick Bowe immediately he's fighting off his back foot, pumping. That's what 3 jabs in a couple seconds. Another jab right there. Moving his head, catching shots. Boom, jab right there. Another jab, faint jab right here. So you can see he's already fighting better after that. Jab up top, jab downstairs, feinting, mixing in feints, moving backwards, just trying to set up, you know, that real powerful right hand he's always had. And now he's measuring him, pumping a couple of jabs to the stomach, and now you're seeing as a byproduct of that Cooper cannot enter inside, and it's helped Riddick Bowe significantly. So there you go. He's still just measuring him, measuring where he is with that distance, you know. And this is all credit to Eddie Futch for getting in his ear and really telling him to commit back to that jab, and it's helped him out. Just touching him with a jab now. Just touching him with a jab. Back to the stomach, back up top. You know, this is when Riddick Bowe's at his best, when he's pumping that jab and he's measuring you. Now Cooper decides to tie in, trying to initiate in inside. And Riddick Bowe at this point knows that you know, he's got him right where he wants. So right hand kind of misses, raises him a little bit. Boom. Now he's going to the body. Now he's throwing combinations, uppercuts, hooks, jabs. Just everything you want from Riddick Bowe. This is when he's at his best. Nice inside. Nice uppercut. Uppercut. Left hook over the top. Uppercut. Here you go. Measuring him. Boom. Measuring him. That's what you want from Riddick Bowe. There you go. Not the stoppage is becoming soon, I believe. So he's pivoting, and he just looks better. Now he's measuring him, measuring him, measuring him. Cooper ties him up. All right, it's coming soon. I know it. Measuring him, measuring him, pumping, pumping, measuring him, measuring him. Just misses. Measuring him, measuring him. Alright, so Cooper's going to continue to tie him up. I know it's coming real soon. But yeah, you're seeing how much the jab, when he's committed to it, how much better he looks rather than fighting to the size of his opponent. So here he comes. It's coming. It's coming right now. Measuring him. Measuring him. Just has that left hand out, making sure he can't get it. Measuring him. Boom! As you can see right there, buckled his knees. Right when he realized he had the right distance, buckled his knees. So you're seeing what Riddick Bowe with the jab looks like. Now, here you go. He's gonna get him out of there right now. Boom! Look at this combination punching at 6'5" that, you know, you'll never see from anybody else again. And yeah, man. What's his name was trying to beat the count, and Riddick Bowe got the stoppage, and it was a great fight, a great win for him at the time when he beat him. But yeah, Riddick Bowe was a tale of two fighters in that particular fight, and it's just like that level of focus that he didn't have, even in a fight as small as that, I feel cost him down the road with his training, and even like in some of the Holyfield fight, in the second Holyfield fight, you know, a lot of things cost him. And you know, great fighter, but yeah, that fight's a great illustration. Now, when we speak about Larry Holmes, what made his jab better than everybody's jab in the history of heavyweight boxing, in my personal opinion, you know, Larry Holmes could throw his jab about 7 or 8 different ways. He could stab you with the jab, flick the jab, hit you with a power jab, and it was always to set something up. Larry Holmes' jab always had a purpose, and it always was calculated. And honestly, you know, I'm going to compare his jab to the Bert Cooper fight that Riddick Bowe had, because they're both similar fights, and then the fight I'm going to use for Larry Holmes will be his fight with Leon Spinks, and this is already when he was a champion, and I believe he made a couple of title defenses. Now, Larry, in this fight, just like Riddick, he had a size advantage against Leon Spinks, and in the first round, Larry kind of, you know, got away from what he was supposed to do, and Leon was able to have success and get on the inside and make it his fight. Now, here's the difference between Larry Holmes and Riddick Bowe's jabs.
The punishment of the Holmes jab, a stinging, jarring jab. Or can he keep Holmes moving because Larry's jab is most effective when he can stand flat-footed and just pour it in there. Double and triple mark. Will
Alright, so in this fight, we're going to get a good idea of how Larry used his jab. He had a 5-inch reach advantage, as you can see right there, on Leon Spinks, 81-76. So this is what made Larry a dominant champion and one of the most dominant champions in heavyweight history. His ability was to establish range and just command distance for however long you wanted. So he's going to come out this round. You're going to see he's circling him. Always did a great job of that. Those little short, mobile, compact jabs. And he's finding his range while being mobile. Larry had better legs than Riddick. And this is one of the reasons I feel, separates them. And right now he's kind of just measuring him, circling, using that left hand as a rangefinder. And you can see Leon trying to cut that distance, trying to cut the ring off, but Larry's a little bit too slick, too clever for him. And one thing I like about Larry too, if you notice his right hand is always right there to catch the shot, but his right hand's also always moving. So he's giving you multiple targets, multiple angles that either one of those hands could come from. So the fact that he was able to do that made him a very, very special fighter. Because a lot of guys can't do that while they're moving, have the awareness of where both their hands are at. It's very hard in the ring to do that. But you're going to watch Larry right here. He's just stabbing him right now. Stabbing him with the jab. Light stabs with the jab. Hasn't really began to pour it on Leon Spinks, but he's doing a good job. So you're going to see Leon right here getting a little closer. Pushes him away. Boom. Keeps it in his face. Just flicking it out there. Flicking it out there, keeping the fight right in the center of the ring. This is discipline. This is what discipline to a jab looks like. And a lot of people don't rate Leon Spinks very highly, but you're seeing right here why Larry Holmes is one of the best heavyweights of all time. I can make the argument, and I don't want to get into it in this video, but I think in his prime, and people don't want to give Larry the credit he deserves, I think skill-wise, he has a chance to be, he should be recognized as maybe the greatest heavyweight ever because of his commitment to his jab. There were never guys like Larry Holmes who could throw the jab so many different ways and had such an understanding of distance and timing. But right now they're back in the center of the ring. Larry throwing jabs to the stomach. Knows when to tie up. It's not like you see these days when guys tie up as a first result, but it's now Larry tying up just to keep Spinks from cutting the distance. See, there you have it again. And now they're working a little bit on the inside, and now they break. So right now Larry's just feeling out Leon, and I think he's doing a really good job of that so far for the most part. Leon was always a tough fighter, so it's going to take him a couple rounds to get engaged where he needs to be in the ring. But now they're back right where he needs to be, in the center. And look at that. He understands that he is a bigger man. He's fighting like it. And now we're round 2, and he's now beginning to stick that left hand right out there. Using their puts their right hand right there to catch. If you guys notice, watch his right hand. It's always there to catch a shot, and then he can either hook off of that or maybe throw a jab up over the top, or wherever he sees fit. Look at the mobility, you guys. I want you guys to notice the mobility Larry Holmes had. It wasn't flashy like Ali, but the mobility he had is what was able to set up so many of his jabs. A lot of people don't understand this, but when you're boxing, a lot of it is your legs and where you are in the ring. And Larry, you guys are watching this fight right now. He's just giving you guys a good example of that. Now he's tying up. That was probably a little unnecessary, but regardless, now they're back to the center of the ring, right where Larry wants to be. And boom, a couple jabs there that didn't quite land. If you guys notice too, Leon's kind of opening up, throwing wide shots, and Larry's gonna start catching him with some stuff. Good jab there by Larry. Another jab. feeling right there, using it as a rangefinder. Lands a couple hard jabs there. I don't know if you guys just caught that, but Larry kind of tapped Leon's shoulder, and he was kind of trying to set something up. He just like little subtle things like that. Like Larry would stick his hand on your shoulder, or his lead left hand would on your shoulder or on your glove, and he'd always set things up. You know, a lot of guys do that, but not quite like Larry. And now he's really beginning to put that jab out there, as you guys just saw a couple seconds ago. There you go. Look at that. He's working other punches off of his jab. This is textbook boxing, guys. Like when you watch Larry Holmes and his jab. And if you notice, for the majority of this fight, if you look at Larry's left foot, it's on the inside, or it's right in between Leon Spinks's left and his right foot, right towards the center. So he's getting good leverage for the most part on his jab. But then you have Leon coming in real hard. You know, Leon fought Larry tough this fight, but the skills of Larry is a little too much. Larry's caught him with a nice right hand right there, and then he digs to the body, and now it's a slugfest. But Larry can still stay composed and get back to his boxing. He walks right back to the center of the ring, and it's right where Larry Holmes wants it. So now we're in round 3. Larry's gonna begin to pour it on. You've already seen 3 jabs right there by Larry. Boom. A nice stinging jab by Larry. Good right hand. There's a difference, guys. You're seeing right here what separates Larry Holmes from Riddick Bowe. And I'm a huge Riddick Bowe fan. Riddick Bowe is a good friend of mine, but the commitment to his jab, I just think his ability to understand range, his ability to throw his jab from different angles, different ways, with different velocities, Riddick just didn't have that. And a lot of heavyweights, not even just Riddick. Riddick was a special talent, but a lot of heavyweights didn't have it. And it's his jab that, I have no problem with people saying Muhammad Ali is the best heavyweight. I used to have that opinion, to be honest with you. I think Ali has, due to his resume, probably a great chance of should be called the great best heavyweight, and he is by many people, but it really pisses me off that Larry Holmes doesn't get the credit he deserves. I mean, look at this, guys. Look at his jab. Look at the understanding of range. I mean, here he is. Now he's going to finish him up, I believe. I think it's this round. Now he's pointing on. Now you're seeing hooks off the jab. Now he's boom, right hand off the measuring. You know, this is boxing, guys. Boom, nice left hook to the body. Nice right up top. Right to the body, right up top, left to the body. Look at this, guys. Are you guys watching this? This is the sweet science at work. Larry, the Eastern Assassin Holmes, is putting on a boxing clinic on Leon Spinks, and there he goes to the canvas. So when I watch this guy fight, he does not get the credit he deserves. If we're talking about the greatest heavyweights of all time, obviously you got to mention the likes of Ali. But the fact that we don't talk about this guy is ridiculous. Look at the way he changes, the way he places those punches. Nice left hook right. I mean, Riddick had could place his punches, but not quite like this. Not with this level of precision. I mean, look at this. Good God, Larry Holmes, and then there the fight would be stopped. He stops Leon Spinks in the 4th round, and Larry Holmes, once more in his career, has shown us what boxing should look like. Basically, the ability to place your punches, to flick the jab, stab the jab, sting the jab, put it right in their face, bury his punches, different velocities. These are the things that make great fighters. These are the things that win fights for long periods of time, which Larry proved to do with him having one of the highest totals for title defenses in heavyweight history. And I think these 2 fights, the Burt Cooper fight against Riddick Bowe and the Larry Holmes fight versus Leon Spinks, this shows the difference between Larry and Riddick. I mean, Larry went through his adversity. He had Leon in his face. He kept coming. But Larry was able to remain composed, stick to his jab, and then eventually the knockout opportunity came, and he was able to pour it on and his punch placement is just better than like 99.9% of the heavyweights that have ever lived. So if they ever fought, I told Riddick Bowe this too. I said, you know, if you and Larry fought, because we went through a bunch of heavyweights throughout the course of history, that you know, if he fought, who would he be? And I remember he told me if there are any heavyweights that I think he wouldn't have beaten, to name them. And the first name that came to my mind was Larry Holmes. I don't think Larry would have beat him. And he was saying, well, he would beat Larry because of the size advantage. But it's not the size that wins fights; it's skills that wins fights. And I think Larry's ability to place punches, Riddick's bad habits of fighting down to shorter fighters, I think Larry would have outboxed him. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Larry took a punch from Ernie Shavers and got right off the canvas and was still able to outbox him. I mean, look how he's measuring Leon Spinks here and how he attacks, how he digs the body and just varies his attack. You don't see many fighters in boxing, let alone heavyweights, with this level of understanding of punching angles, punch variations, and distance and timing. And for me, it's a no-brainer that Larry would have beat Riddick in a 12-round unanimous decision. And I honestly think Larry, you know, you guys might think I'm crazy, but I think Larry would have given any version of Ali a great run for his money, the prime Larry Holmes. So, I mean, that's up for debate. But I want to play you guys a clip from my interview with Riddick Bowe when he said he would beat Larry Holmes and how he would beat Larry Holmes. So, let's take a listen. Good to see you. Always great to see you. My favorite interview in boxing.
That's a good thing.
We were just talking, man, about, you know, because you had a really great skill set. I told you that I think you'd beat a lot of the great heavyweights, but there was a couple that I think in the past that you wouldn't have beat. So I'll name some heavyweights, and you tell me how you would have beat them. I'm gonna name some. All right, Larry Holmes. How would you beat Larry Holmes if you fought him?
You know, me and Larry always go away the best job. I truly believe that, you know, it's time progressing the fight with Larry. Our advantage came in the right hand and get him out of the fight.
So you think like your power would have been a determining factor in that fight? Because he was able to take power. You know, he fought Ernie Shavers and he got off the canvas and outboxed him.
But I think once I ran the number down on him, I took the fight out of him.
So you think so the power would have just got Larry Holmes out of there?
I mean, I don't see the thing is, you know, here's the guy we told him was very intelligent. So you just can't jump on him and think that's what it is. I just truly like to say, if I progress, I'll run him into a number or something like that and beat him up pretty good. And then, you know, probably over.
So Riddick Bowe versus Larry Holmes. Who would have won that fight? I think Larry Holmes would have outboxed him, but we'll never really know. But I thought this was a cool video to do since, you know, with Riddick Bowe and my relationship with him, doing the interviews I've done with him in the past. You guys can go check those out. I'll even leave some links in the description and some annotations in this video if you haven't seen my interviews with Riddick Bowe. And I did interview Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes was actually like one of the first big boxing interviews I ever got. So, being that, you know, there's been all this back and forth between me and Bowe, I thought this would be a cool video to do. And I want to get more into film studies, so if you guys are interested in seeing more of these type of videos from me, let me know in the comments down below. But who do you guys think would have won between Riddick Bowe and Larry Holmes, and where would you guys like rank them in terms of the greatest heavyweights of all time? Leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys. Any message for the people out there that might be watching this right now?
Keep my name out your mouth. I'm going to keep my foot out your ass.
All right, Riddick.